Today I'm going to answer the question, what is occupational therapy? Thanks for tapping in with Ted for another episode of TED Talks for OT. And today we're going to be talking about what is occupational therapy. And it's a very common question, and unfortunately it's often compared to physical therapy. Let's start with the definition of occupational therapy. Occupational therapy is the therapeutic use of occupations or everyday life activities with individuals or groups for the purpose of enhancing or enabling participation in roles, habits, routines, and rituals in the home, school, workplace, community, and other settings. So let's go ahead and break down that definition. Therapeutic use just refers to the use of activities during therapy. So just using different things through therapy. This can be as a means to an end or as a means. So if someone is struggling with handwriting and we're trying to restore previous handwriting skills, we may have them practice handwriting with a pen or pencil as a means to an end, which means during therapy, we have them using a pencil or pen because that is our desired outcome. Or we could work on strengthening their fingers using putty, different types of graded clips and things like that. And that would be more so as a means, because realistically for an occupation, unless it's a child, they're not really gonna be playing with putty or anything like that. So that's not really as an end goal. That would just be as a means to build up strength so they can hold a pencil or a pen to carry out occupations. So what are occupations? If everyone can understand what an occupation is, then they would pretty much understand occupational therapy. Occupations are just everyday life activities, simply anything that you do. Sleep is an occupation. Going to the gym is an occupation. Eating, dressing, all of these things are occupations. When someone has a life-changing event, such as a car wreck, a stroke, a heart attack, whatever the case may be, they may not be able to do the same things that they used to be able to do, such as driving. They can't use half of their body, for instance, their arm or their leg on one side, which is hemiplegia. They're not going to be able to drive, which is an occupation. Occupational therapy would more so focus on building up their strength and range of motion, yes, but also figuring out how can we make driving functional for them, even if they can't build up their strength or range of motion how it used to be. So with occupations comes different roles. Most women who are mothers may cook, clean, take care of the children more household activities, whereas having a role as a father, they may do some of these things as well, but they may also, do yard work, do things around the house, such as hanging pictures, washing cars, all of those things. Other roles can include being a classmate or a student. So everyone has different roles that they have, and it's not just one. For myself, I'm a student, fiance, son, grandson, all of those things. There's gonna be different occupations that come with different roles. And occupational therapy can occur in many different settings, such as inpatient, outpatient, hand therapy, pediatrics, school-based occupational therapy. You even have prison occupational therapists who may work with inmates on community re-entry. So obviously with prison, there is a huge safety concern. There is some limitations on what OTs may do in a prison setting. But what can occur to make someone need occupational therapy, or what conditions may occupational therapists treat? There are a wide range of conditions that occupational therapists may treat, and I'm just going to give you a few examples. This may include a catastrophic life event, such as a traumatic brain injury or a stroke that may cause hemiplegia, which ultimately results in dysfunction on one side of the body. Amputations and diabetes may also cause for OT services. And a very overlooked category includes psychological disorders. Many of us know someone who is dealing with mental illness. There are many cases where someone may be experiencing sudden depression, schizophrenia, or bipolar disorder. All of these psychological disorders can significantly impact someone's occupational performance. For instance, if someone is having a major depressive episode, they may not want to go out in public or be around other people. They may stay in more. They may be subjected to stress eating, drug abuse, whatever the case may be, to alleviate that depression. What all is this going to affect? They may not want to go to work anymore. If you don't go to work, then you don't make money to pay bills. So that's going to affect the money management. After your money management is affected, you may not have anywhere to live anymore. These people still need help with managing psychological disorders and finding ways to overcome these things so that they still may be functional in their everyday activities. Of course, there are some psychological disorders that may not ever go away, such as schizophrenia, but you can still help people be functional with the disorder they have. You may help them manage their medications to where they stay on a fixed schedule and find ways to participate in occupations that they enjoy and help them increase their quality of living. So of course I said anything can be considered an occupation that you do on a day-to-day basis, but we often categorize these things into 8 different categories. So you have activities of daily living, which are also known as ADLs. You have instrumental activities of daily living, which are known as IADLs, rest and sleep, play, leisure, education, work, and social participation. So as you can see with these different categories, occupational therapy is really holistic based. It's not just, hey, you have a physical dysfunction, how can I help you be functional in your home? It's a myriad of physical things, but it's also psychological. What family supports do you have? What religious supports do you have? Etc., etc. So I'm just gonna go through a few of these and give you an example of each category. ADLs, anything that has to do with taking care of one's own body. This is probably the most known category of occupational therapy. And some examples of this may be feeding, dressing, bathing, grooming yourself, and oddly enough, sex. Because it technically does have something to do with taking care of one's own body and the fact that one reaps the benefits of personal satisfaction and reproductive need. And the next category is IADLs. This category supports daily life, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with taking care of oneself. Examples of IADLs may include health management, like going to the gym and physical fitness, meal prep, shopping for food and clothes, and taking care of others such as child rearing or caring for your pets. As you can see, IADLs kind of supports ADLs in a sense because you have to go to the store, shop, buy your food, and then come home, prepare it, which is still an IADL, but when you actually eat that food, it's considered an ADL. So the next category we have is rest and sleep. Rest can be defined as any activity that is a break from physical or mental activities. For example, chilling on the couch. But preparing to go to sleep can also be considered in that sleep category. For instance, every night if I have to brush my teeth before going to bed, which I do, that would be considered in the sleep category because I do that every night before I go to sleep. If I have to get up and lock the door every night before I go to sleep, that's also considered in the sleep category. Next category is play. Play is considered any organized or goal-centered activity that provides enjoyment or diversion. This may include me getting the dub on 2K. If you don't know what dub means, that means win on 2K, which is a basketball game. Another example may even be chess for younger kids, double dutch, who can double dutch the longest. But basically any game or activity that has a goal or end goal. The next category is leisure. This is defined as non-obligatory activities that are intrinsically motivating and engaged in during free time. For me, that might include working on my truck or of course going fishing. I love fishing. Next is education. This may be formal or informal. For instance, formal includes maybe undergraduate school or graduate school like OT school, and informal may be as simple as watching how-to videos on YouTube to learn a new skill that you like. Now, everybody kind of already knows what work is. So work is completing labor or services, and that can be with or without reward. The final category is social participation, and this can be defined as engagement in the community or in family activities. For instance, attending family and community functions, interacting with others, or engaging at different levels of intimacy. So I know that took a little minute, but those are the 8 categories that occupational therapy practitioners categorize occupation. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know what topics you would like me to cover next. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.